Hello. Testing, testing. One, two, three for the live stream. All right. Let's get into the Monday Night Raw live stream. Wow. A Raw full of impromptu matches, I tell you. So we might as well start off with the beginning of the night. We heard that the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre had COVID. And so Triple H came in to take that place. So I barely watched Monday Night Raw myself, but Raw started off with the WWE Champion revealing he had COVID. Well, the announcers did, and the usual Thunderdome opening with welcome to the WWE Thunderdome and yada yada. But it started off with Triple H coming in with his King of Kings theme and coming out and talking about he was there to take the place of Drew McIntyre, to there for business. And so not too long afterwards, the Viper Randy Orton came out and interrupted him, as he usually would, saying that Triple H is a legend and it's a legend for him to kill. So, of course, Randy pulled the good old "you still want to wrestle" act, and by the end of the night, it made an impromptu match between Triple H and Randy Orton, doing the good old Randy you left your balls in Stephanie's purse, and that got Triple H to punch him. He rolled out the ring, Randy holding his jaw, held the mic and said, I guess that's a yes, even though Triple H didn't give him a real answer. Randy Orton took that as a yes, and that propelled pretty much the main act for the night, Triple H versus Randy Orton in the main event. The next thing of the night was Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans. Very interesting. I wanted to like Lacey Evans, but they just threw her character away with the whole Baron Corbin storyline with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch at Extreme Rules, and it just after that she just died out, and Baron Corbin began his terror of the mid card. But we had a backstage interview, Charlotte Flair at the Gorilla, and she said she's gonna teach a classless woman how to act like a lady, which is part of Lacey Evans' whole thing to act like a lady, yada yada. And then at the same place, they interviewed Lacey Evans and said tonight this match is dedicated to the Nature Boy, and did a woo of her own, and led to a very lackluster match. It started with a basic headlock, not a headlock, call it an elbow tie up, and from there pretty much went downhill. I started liking the match, and then she started botching moves. It's like everyone these past few weeks has botched a natural selection. I really can't say that much tonight or on Monday Night Raw because half of the time I was asleep. I'm literally just reviewing what I can. So pretty much, Charlotte was showing off her power with a big back body drop. She missed. She missed a big boot and went into the rope. And pretty much in the middle of the match, the Nature Boy Ric Flair came out when Charlotte Flair I could really clearly said that he was home, which he wasn't. And he pretty much said he was not staying home. And from there, pretty much, just like the other week before when he screwed Charlotte of that match, he screwed Charlotte once again. And when Charlotte Flair went for the natural selection, she obviously had her by the ropes and went for the 3 count and the pin. And from there, Charlotte, no, Rick, gosh, Rick pulled Lacey Evans' leg onto the rope and caused a rope break. And Charlotte seen what Rick had done, and from there it pretty much led to Charlotte's loss. 1, 2, 3 for Lacey Evans with I think a roll up pin, and it might not have been. I can't remember, but from there, Lacey won out with Rick, and obviously Charlotte was mad at her father. And I don't know what this is leading to. I don't know what it can lead to. I don't know what they're doing here. If they're trying to create a storyline with Lacey and Rick because they wanted more adult content or whatever. I thought that was our save for the Fiend, but I guess not. Maybe. But that was Lacey versus Charlotte. Now we'll take this quick break. So just listen to some music and chill. Alrighty, we are back. I might just go ahead and call this the botchcast. But after Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans, of course, Lacey Evans got the win and went back with Ric Flair, and I don't know what's going to lead up to this. Of course, Charlotte was very dismayed at what her father had done, interfering once again in another match. But this led to a backstage segment between the first two, Keith Lee and Sheamus. An interviewer was interviewing Keith Lee, and then in came Sheamus, and then after that came The Miz and John Morrison, which sadly has been a horrible act on Raw. I wish they could just split those two up and have Morrison on his own. Miz was good at one point, and now he's just overly exaggerated and annoying. When I think about good Miz, well, what I think about was his Intercontinental run and feud with Dolph Ziggler, and the one he just had with the Fiend. I thought that was great, and even though babyface Miz isn't the best, it still brought out a good storyline of both of them. Might not be the best match, but a great storyline. But I barely remember half of this stuff because I barely watched it. But I remember the phrase saying, which one's dumb and dumber and which one's dumber and yada yada. But the Miz and Morrison were saying their cheesy catchphrases, the correct and all that with this new Money in the Bank, which he somehow regained because of Adam Pearce. But that's a whole different topic. But this led to an impromptu tag team match tonight because this is the show full of impromptu matches. And after this, they accepted the tag team match, led to that tag team match later on tonight. But right after this was Jeff Hardy versus Jackson Riker. So Jeff Hardy got a jobber entrance almost. And he was just already in the ring with his music. He was on the rope clapping, the usual Jeff Hardy entrance. And out came Elias with his awesome, awesome theme song. Yes, a ripoff Chris Jericho Judas. But out came Elias saying that he couldn't wrestle because he had blisters in his hand from playing in the studios. And so he sent Jackson Riker in the ring. This was a very quick, almost squash match because of Elias's interference. And so pretty much it started off with it almost looked like they made Jeff Hardy a jobber with how Jackson Riker was beating Jeff Hardy in the corner and how he was beating him almost half this match. But I mean, he did beat him in the end because Elias ended up, I think, almost getting on the rope, and it pretty much led to a roll up and 1, 2, 3, and Jackson Riker had won. And after that, Jeff Hardy grabbed the mic and told Elias to fight him like a man, which then led to Elias versus Jeff Hardy, another impromptu match, which is there were like almost 5, 6 impromptu matches of the night, and there's already 2 made, and it's just the beginning of the show. So we started off with some strong rights from Elias, but Jeff Hardy ended up reversing and with some rights of his own. Elias kneed him, led into a clothesline off the ropes, a pin attempt, and it did not work. And a continuous back and forth with some roll up pins and schoolboys, which not sadly, but surely just ended to a jobber match with Elias, and Jeff Hardy twist of fate went to the top rope swanton bomb. 1, 2, 3, Jeff Hardy picks up the win, and then Elias started complaining after the match why didn't Jackson Riker help him, even though when he was telling him, hey, don't, whatever you do, don't help me, which he was exaggerating because he actually wanted him to help him. After the match he started complaining about it because he was clearly exaggerating, which Jackson Riker apparently misinterpreted. This then led to Keith Lee and Sheamus versus Miz and Morrison. I was in the shower during this match, so I have no idea what happened here. All I know was when I came back. Well, I'll get into what I have for the match of watching it, but it started off with, from what I see here, Keith Lee and John Morrison. And Keith Lee ended up throwing John Morrison out of the ring onto The Miz. This led to a tag with Sheamus, and Sheamus hosting Miz up on his shoulders and Keith Lee with a tag from behind. Keith Lee got in the ring, which it actually looked like Sheamus and Keith Lee were getting along. Now, for most of this match, they were, and Keith Lee threw Miz into the corner and got John Morrison into the ring. A tag from the Miz, and Keith Lee motioned for a collar to elbow tie up, which John Morrison slickly avoided, and did some kicks, like John Morrison would. His high acrobatics. It wasn't really high acrobatics, but John Morrison slick stuff, and he started going for kicks to the back of the leg and chops, which then led to Keith Lee reversing with a big headbutt, which led John Morrison to the ground, and from there he Irish whipped. Oh, not Irish whip. He threw John Morrison almost all the way across the ring, and he did one of the greatest things I've seen Keith Lee do and made him look like an absolute monster. He ended up pouncing John Morrison into the top turnbuckle, and it flew off, and he actually broke the top turnbuckle and the ring rope. It was amazing, and Keith Lee stood there smiling, and he was like, "Yeah, I just did that, yeah." But it led to a power bomb, not a power bomb, uh, a sit out a power slam from Keith Lee, and Miz broke up the pin, but then Keith Lee ended up throwing Miz out the ring. John Morrison hit him what looked like a Pele kick. He tried to springboard off the ropes, but Keith Lee slammed him down with what he calls the Magnum Grizzly. But when he was going to the corner to do the real Magnum Grizzly, Sheamus tagged in. He got a bro kick, and 1, 2, 3, Sheamus had won the match for both of them, and after the match, they hugged. After this, it led to Sheamus versus Keith Lee in an impromptu match, because when we came back from the commercial break, they were apparently arguing over something. Don't know what happened. Maybe in Titus Catering, they got the wrong item on the menu, and it led to them wanting some good stuff, but Titus didn't have it, sadly. So, it led to Keith Lee versus Sheamus in another impromptu match. How much better could Raw get when it's full of impromptu matches? Gotta wait for this to load here because I did not see anything at all. But it started off with Sheamus pushing Keith Lee and shoving him because they were in a little altercation, and now they're mad at each other after winning this match. So another impromptu match here. The ref rang the bell, and Sheamus went for a big dive into Keith Lee, and they were both going back and forth at each other, and Keith Lee ended up kneeing him and throwing him into the corner. Sheamus reversed Keith Lee going to the rope, and he did his 10 Irish beats to the chest of Keith Lee. And Keith Lee actually ended up reversing one of them, but Sheamus ended up hitting him. And when Sheamus ended up hitting him, he ended up headbutting him. Sheamus went down on the ropes a little, and he flung him over the ropes, and it looked like it could have ended badly. Keith went to the top rope with Sheamus, and it looked like he was about to do another Spanish fly, which we saw last week in this WWE Championship match against Drew McIntyre, and that was crazy. He almost killed himself there. But Sheamus thankfully headbutted him. He rolled off the rope and onto the mat, and Sheamus went for a top rope move, and he actually did do a flying clothesline. He got back up what looks like a high knee, and only for a 2 count, but Keith Lee got up and he showed his strength, and he, with bringing Sheamus up from the mat, he power bombed him with one hand. And pretty much from there, right when Sheamus got back up, he hit him with a spirit bomb. 1, 2, 3. Keith Lee won this match, and another victory for Keith Lee. I can't speak on anything Keith Lee because I don't know what they're gonna do with him, and I think they're just gonna bury him again. But After this, Triple H accepted Randy Orton's challenge for the night in the main event, Triple H versus Randy Orton, and great impromptu match that a lot of people weren't looking forward to because it's just typically just another legend for Randy to take off the list. And out of nowhere, they had Xavier Woods versus T-Bar. I don't know why, but they did, and I was really confused on it because I was like, why is Xavier Woods facing T-Bar? And Xavier Woods looks good on his own, but Kofi is out with a jaw injury from fighting the Hurt Business, and yeah, I really didn't care for this match. I liked seeing Kofi, not Kofi, gosh, I liked seeing Xavier, but it was just really a squash match, wow, I keep on saying Kofi. Xavier got some good offense, and actually at one part of the match, T-Bar had bots fall out of the ring, and he ended up going through the bottom rope on accident, and like the bottom to middle rope, and he just looked stupid. Poor Mustafa Ali in this retribution act because I'm sure it's not going anywhere, and still over here it makes Xavier Woods look better than any member of Retribution. Next was Bobby Lashley versus Riddle in the United States Champion match, and before this, Riddle was backstage with the Lucha House Party, which I really think should stay in NXT because they deserve to be there. It's awesome seeing them there. It's a whole different vibe you can tell when they're in NXT. But he was comparing how beating Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title would be like getting a pizza with almost every topping on it. And sure, it's Matt Riddle's act to be kind of like that, but man, it's really annoying because I just want to see Matt Riddle get to the top and they won't let him. But slowly over time, hopefully they will. But this led to a match between Bobby Lashley and Matt Riddle for the United States Championship. I don't know why they just didn't save this for the Royal Rumble because it would have been way better at the Royal Rumble. So the match did even start, and Bobby Lashley attacked Matt Riddle from behind, and he brutally beat him in the corner on the mat, and the ref pulled him away, but when he pulled him away, he went right back to the corner and started going for Matt Riddle once again. And we all know, matches before the attack is always a sin. So the match hadn't even begun, and Bobby Lashley was already hitting him in the corner, and it looks like Matt Riddle was bleeding from the mouth. I don't know what did it, but he was bleeding from the mouth. And Matt Riddle tried to get some good offense in. It seems like in almost every Bobby Lashley match, he gets reversed into the ring post for whatever reason, which most likely leads to Bobby Lashley bleeding, which makes him look like a monster, and it's just ridiculous. I'm tired of seeing that in almost every Bobby Lashley match. But he tried to get back into the ring after getting hit into the ring post, and Matt Riddle hit him with a devastating knee that looked like it hurt. And he went for a floating bro, and he did it. He hit it, and after that, they went to commercial break for a little. He came back in. Looks like he tried to go for the final flash knee, but Bobby Lashley reversed into a clothesline, which got reversed by Matt Riddle. He tried to go for the floating bro, and he grabbed his leg, and he ended up doing what looks like a huge variation of the choke slam over his shoulder with Matt Riddle. And then he did the full Nelson, and there we go. Matt Riddle tapped, and that was the end of the match. After this, it led to, sadly, another impromptu match of the night. It was Matt Riddle got on the microphone and pretty much said, MVP, you're always a weasel, you're always checking out of things. MVP was on the stage, and pretty much Matt Riddle challenged him for a match, and MVP was on the stage. He took off his suit and got in the ring, and that started an impromptu match between Matt Riddle and MVP. I forgot his name's not Matt Riddle anymore. It's just Riddle, which is ridiculous. Yeah, no. But a stupid match between MVP. I really didn't pay attention to this at all. Right now, I'm actually watching it. But seeing as he got him in the corner for a little, MVP went for a strong right, and he went for a final flash knee, which he actually did hit. MVP went down to the mat, and Matt Riddle wanted to go to the top rope and for a floating bro, and it seems like Bobby Lashley interfered. He did hit it, and Bobby Lashley interfered with the spear. The referee rung the bell. That was a DQ. Bobby Lashley and MVP ended up beating him after the match, showing them why Bobby Lashley was the United States champion, and that led to the end of that, which I'm pretty sure this will all lead to Matt Riddle versus Bobby Lashley at the Royal Rumble. Most likely, Matt Riddle defeats Bobby Lashley, and that's that. A backstage segment then appeared with Adam Pearce, the challenger for Roman Reigns' WWE Universal Championship. That's a whole nother thing to talk about. A whole nother thing. But Drew Gulak said he was going to enter himself in the 2020 Royal Rumble, and he said he could not simply just do that. He had to earn his spot, and so did AJ. So this led to a match between AJ Styles and Drew Gulak. Did not see this at all. Not at all. So now I'm going to just skip and see what's happening here. Drew Gulak hit a nice superplex or a suplex and one for the pin. It seemed like he only got one for a strong. This match was really fast paced between these two. He looked like he went for a fisherman bomb for a cover and 1, 2. He only got a 2 count. Drew Gulak is frustrated here. He went for he propped AJ Styles on the top rope. It looked like it was going to be a superplex originally. He got on the top rope. AJ Styles reversed. Got a roll up and only for a 2 count. For Drew Gulak once again for another roll up and over the back for a 2 count. AJ Styles reversed and did a signature Pele kick. He got back up, slammed him down. It seems like he had Drew Gulak dropped on the rope. AJ Styles was running to do a clothesline over the rope, and Drew Gulak put up his boot, but AJ Styles reversed that and flew him right over the top rope. And from there, it led to Drew Gulak looking at Omos, which is supposed to be a devastating thing to see, I guess. But it's all led to Drew Gulak going straight back into the ring, into a phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles is in the Royal Rumble. Great. We then saw a little promo package of Goldberg's career, which was very, I guess, interesting if you're interested in Goldberg. But we all know no one wants to see Goldberg compete for Drew McIntyre's WWE title, but oh well. After this was Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, which I'm really sad for Mandy Rose because I feel like she deserves so much better after her match at SummerSlam with Sonya Deville, and she looks like she's gotten way better in the ring. Dana and Nia can stay at the Performance Center while Mandy and Shayna, those two actually deserve to shine. This led to really nothing at all. The ending of the match, I guess they got some good offense in. I thought they won at one point with when Mandy had hit a nice knee on Shayna. I thought they won at that point, but then pretty much Nia was going for a top rope splash, what looked like on Dana or Mandy, and I wasn't paying attention like for half of this night. That's how boring Raw was for these impromptu matches. But after this, Shayna tagged herself in and put Dana in her signature Barracuda clutch, and it's not the Barracuda clutch, gosh, I forgot the name of the move. Wow, but she put her in her submission move, and she tapped out, and from that it was over. Last match of the night, which I'm pretty sure we all look forward to, of course, was Triple H versus Randy Orton. I'll just get to the main part of the match because this match was really nothing. It led to Triple H, putting Randy Orton outside, them fighting back and forth, back and forth. He put Randy Orton he rolled him back in the ring, and he got his good old pile sledgy from under the ring. And as soon as he got it, the lights went out in the Thunderdome, and he won the ring with it. The lights went out, which signaled the Fiend and or Alexa Bliss. And when he picked it back up, the sledgehammer was on fire, which I really thought was a cool cinematic. It was really cool to look at. It was like, wow, because I was not expecting that. But then the lights went out. Triple H just appeared from the ring. In the corner was Alexa Bliss. And the story tells itself. And pretty much Alexa Bliss threw a fireball at Randy Orton, which looked really cool and also really bad at the same time. I don't know if it hit Randy or if it's a special effect that they did, but it looked like it might have actually hit either Randy Orton's chest or a side of his neck. Really cool, but I guess really that's it for Monday Night Raw. In all, it was like a 4, maybe. It seemed Drew Gulak and AJ Styles had an okay match. Sheamus and Keith Lee had a alright match with Miz and Morrison, and really that was it. That was really all. I might even demote it down to a 3. But I guess that's it for this first Raw review. If you liked it, like, subscribe, do whatever. But it's the Botch Boy, and I guess I'll see you guys later. I'm out. See you next time on Wednesday for the NXT review.